Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Hello and welcome to Movies for Dumb Guys Christmas Special with Ryan Sharp.
I'm cute. She thinks I'm cute.
And Tim Williams.
River Bottom Nightmare Band.
And Joe Johnson.
I know nobody likes me. Why do we have to have a holiday season to emphasize it?
All right. So, about a week or so ago, I was in the office at work, and we were talking about our favorite Christmas movies. And throughout the course of that conversation, people brought up Rudolph and Charlie Brown Christmas. And I was like, hold on. Those aren't Christmas movies. And we kind of got into this discussion about whether or not those should be qualified as Christmas movies. Ryan, what are your thoughts? The Christmas specials that we grew up with year after year after year, are they Christmas movies?
I can see both sides of it. I think they are Christmas movies, though. Even if they are only a half hour or whatever, I think they're Christmas movies. They're definitely a staple. I know we focus mainly on theatrical release things, but I think the significance of these are worth a chat.
Tim, what are your thoughts on the subject?
Well, maybe not technically years ago, but they recently in the last so many years they've started to show these at the theater around Christmas time. They'll take for instance, they'll take 3 of the Rankin and Bass ones, throw them together, and show them one right after another at the theaters. So sure, why not?
Yeah. So on that note, that's why we decided we're going to devote an entire episode of Movies for Dumb Guys to the holiday specials that we've all grown up with. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach for this particular episode, though. Instead of listing my favorites or whatever, and we'll discuss which ones are our favorites, but I wanted to focus on kind of the chronological release of these specials, which started with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That came out on television in 1964, I believe, and it was based. And this I don't know if many people are familiar with this, but back in 1989, I had moved out to California, and to just make ends meet, I took a job at a warehouse for Montgomery Ward. And when Christmas rolled around, they handed out these Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer books to us. And they took credit for creating Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I called BS. I'm like, that's garbage. Sure enough, looking into it many years later, Montgomery Ward is credited with creating Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. A decade or so later, I don't know how much longer after that, Gene Autry released the famous song that we all know and love. And then that was the inspiration for the Rankin Bass special. And Rankin Bass is a name we should all be familiar with. I can't imagine the holiday season without all the Rankin Bass Christmas specials that aired on television during the Christmas season that I grew up with. I mean, they were on every Christmas in our household. It was something we looked forward to every year. So the very first one was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it's been a little bit of a controversy this year, even though this is something I've been thinking about for years, is people seem to be upset on social media that there's so much bullying depicted in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. From the moment Rudolph is born, his dad's trying to hide his nose. Santa Claus is like, there's no way you can be part of this team. And the coach, Donner, I think it is like, we're not going to let him play in our reindeer games. And I'm like, my God, everybody in this special is an a-hole. What are your thoughts on the whole bullying aspect that seems to have run rampant on social media, Ryan?
I'm so sick and tired of everything having to be a problem? When did everybody get so butthurt over everything? Somebody just got butthurt that I said butthurt. Like, it's absolutely absurd and absolutely ridiculous. Sure, I don't discount that the things that are said maybe are valid. Maybe he was bullied. Maybe Baby It's Cold Outside, the lyrics are a little but it is from a different time when different things were accepted, and you have to accept that things were different back then, and not saying that it's okay or whatever, but you got to take it for what it is. Like, it's a piece of history.
The moral of the story is that eventually Rudolph overcomes his difference and leads Santa's sleigh and becomes accepted, and everything's redeemed. There's a happy ending. So even though there's bullying that takes part throughout the special, it ends on a happy note. Tim, what are your thoughts on Rudolph?
Like Ryan said, we have to take into consideration the time that this was created. I mean, animals with glowing red noses have come a long way since that time. And
Absolutely.
There's much more acceptance.
Absolutely.
They can vote now.
What?
Yes, it's a different time now. And then
They even have a red nose campaign
That's right. They do. They do.
for the cause, people.
No, okay. The song is they don't let Rudolph play in any reindeer game. So how are you going to get that across in a special? That's what you do. You get a jerky coach who reminded me of my football and gym coach.
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
I think everyone
in high
knows
school.
a guy like that.
Exactly. That's just the way it was. So
Speaking of a jerky coach, Denver says the not movies for dumb guys.
should you
Question mark?
re-explain?
Come on, Denver. If you started with this at the beginning, you'd understand.
Special Christmas special, Denver.
We are versatile.
Now, one thing,
But we love you, Denver.
one thing we were talking about earlier is when it comes to a lot of these Christmas specials, one thing you have to admit is they're all a little weird. They all have a weird aspect. Somehow, the creators of the TV special, the Rudolph TV special, took the song, which is pretty straightforward, and I guess for the sake of having to fill up an hour special, added all kinds of odd characters like Yukon Cornelius and this ragamuffin bunch.
How would you like to be a spotted elephant?
Or a choo-choo with square wheels on your caboose.
Or a water pistol that shoots jelly.
We're all misfits.
How would you like to be a bird that doesn't fly? I swim.
Or a cowboy who rides an ostrich.
Or a boat that can't stay afloat. We're all misfits.
Who came up with that stuff? You know what I think about when I watch the special now when Santa goes to the island of misfit toys and they all hop on board and then he goes out to deliver them? I felt bad for the kids who are getting stuck with these shitty toys. The train with the square wheels. The kid's going to open that on Christmas morning and go, what's the deal with this? Am I right, people?
And now we're going to get complaints about you're offending the square-wheeled train people that live on hills.
Yes, they've come a long way over the years.
What?
They can vote now.
And then there's the subject of Dolly, the little girl. Ryan, hold up Dolly there in front of you for the camera. Dolly. Now, when I was young and I watched the special, I'm like, what's her deal? I mean, everyone, for the most part, has major flaws, but Dolly seemed pretty normal, and I was curious. And so for years I wondered, what's her deal? What's wrong with Dolly? And I found the answer. If you go on to Wikipedia,
That's a credible source.
Mr. Rankin of Rankin Bass fame was asked that very question, what's Dolly's deal? And he said, earnestly, he said, she suffers from depression.
What a sick freak. No wonder she was banished to that misfit island.
Hey,
What?
they can vote now.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? And that's, I guess that's canon now, that because she was rejected by her previous owner, she was Sent to the island of misfit toys because she suffers from depression. Okay, whatever. And then, of course, you got this guy.
I'd like to be a dentist.
A dentist?
Well, we need one up here. I've been studying. It's fascinating. You've no idea. Molars and bicuspids.
Now,
and inside...
listen, you. You're an elf, and elves make toys. Now, get to work.
Poor Hermie. Now, for years, didn't you guys think his name was Herbie?
No.
You always knew it was Hermie.
I don't remember.
I thought it was Herbie until fairly recently, and then I was like, what kind of name is Hermie? So, yeah. But the bottom line is we all grew up with this special. It was the first of its kind. It played in every household for, 50 years now, and has become part of Christmas lore. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Rudolph in your household growing up?
It was a staple. It was something that you definitely checked the TV guide for, and that was the paper version, not the scrolling. You got to wait 10 hours to see what was on at 7:30. But even through those times, it's definitely something you highlighted, circled, and made sure that you, as a family, sat down and tuned in and watched. Even though you've seen it a bunch of times, it was part of the Christmas tradition.
And it was once. If you missed it, that was it.
You were done.
That's what I was going to say.
That's why you got to find the TV guide and circle. And you didn't have Siri to set a reminder. You had to just actually remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like nowadays where they show it all the time on like the Family Channel or whatever. Pre-cable days, it was like Joe said, if you missed it, then you missed it. But it was like a big event. I mean, it really was. Like, you knew that Christmas was right around the corner when they showed that. Yeah, and I
got excited every year too. Every year I was just as excited as if I had never seen it before.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd make some Jiffy Pop and
Jiffy Pop. Yeah.
And then another thing I learned recently is when Yukon Cornelius would throw his pickaxe in the air and it would come down and hit the snow, and then he would taste it. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Nothing. I was like, what exactly is going on there? I don't know if he...
That's a sound drop right there.
I'm like, is he tasting for gold or whatever? I found out later that that's actually a reference to a scene that had been deleted at some point where he was looking for a peppermint mine. And so he would taste for peppermint. And that's not something that was obvious in the special. It was referring to something that got
I just
deleted.
thought he had a problem. But we couldn't mention it because somebody would be offended.
All right. Speaking of offensive, let's get to the next one on the list. 1965, Charlie Brown Christmas. If there is one fictional character that spoke to me the most, that embodied me as a kid growing up, it was Charlie Brown. From his athletic skills to his prowess with women, I was Charlie Brown. The pulling of the football was symbolic of all my relationships with women. And so...
Your hair?
That's right. I got his hairline eventually. I need to get the yellow and black T-shirt. That would complete the look. But a Charlie Brown Christmas was something that was on in our household year after year after year. It was something we looked forward to. It was the first in a series of Charlie Brown specials that aired on CBS. When they created the Charlie Brown special, the network executives were like, what is this? They didn't think it was going to be successful at all, and they questioned the music, the Vince Guaraldi music, the jazz piano and everything. And they didn't know what was going to happen. They thought it was going to be a disaster. Little did they know it was an enormous, huge hit, ratings hit when it aired, which then spawned subsequent specials that came out, like Great Pumpkin and You're an All-Star, Charlie Brown, and all the stuff that came after it. So Charlie Brown Christmas was huge. Here's a little clip from the promo.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
It's Charlie Brown and the Peanuts Gang, preparing to spend another joyous holiday together.
Find the true meaning of Christmas when money.
Dear Santa Claus,
just send money. We all know that Christmas is a big commercial racket. It's run by a big Eastern syndicate, you know. Good grief.
So Charlie Brown attempts to restore the true spirit of Christmas by buying a neglected little Christmas tree. But as is often the case with Charlie Brown,
Oh, everything I touch gets ruined.
it appears that this Christmas may be a sad one. A Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
And of course, Linus is the voice of reason there at the end. So yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas, a staple in the Johnson household growing up. Absolutely loved it. Loved everything about it. Snoopy's hilarious in it. Great lines, great writing, great performances by kids. Ryan, was Charlie Brown Christmas a staple in the Sharp household?
I don't think it's such a bad tree. It just needs a little love. Yeah, all the Charlie Browns, Great Pumpkin, they were all a staple, and the Christmas one was no different. I didn't relate to them as much as you did, apparently. I wasn't checking that out, but I just enjoyed it for what it was. I loved Snoopy. He was such a great character. I like smart alecky little wisecrackers, so of course Snoopy was the bomb.
Tim?
Charlie Brown's
Here we go.
A good man.
You're a good man, Charlie
And
Brown.
he's a savior in that movie.
Anything jump out
he
at
saved-
you from the special? Anything you remember in
Oh,
particular?
I love that. I mean, same thing, same as Rudolph. Probably even more so than Rudolph. I probably looked forward to Charlie Brown, the Charlie Brown Christmas special. I mean, I don't know, nothing really, no moment over any other ones that really stick out for me. But yeah, I mean, same thing. We'd all. It was an event in our house. We'd all make sure to watch it, and yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Snoopy
Once a
Snoopy was
year.
awesome.
Yeah. All right, so that was 1965. The following year, 1966, when I was born, another animated Christmas special was unveiled to the world. Let me play a little clip from the promo.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Oh, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. They'll stand hand in hand, and those fools will start singing.
Welcome, welcome, Bahura. Christmas Day is in our grasp.
I must find some way to keep Christmas from coming.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
I must stop Christmas from coming. But how?
Classic animated special. Not a fan of the live action remake years later. I don't think it really lends itself to live action, but the animation is great. It was directed by the great Chuck Jones, who was known for his work on Bugs Bunny the later years. So you see that similar animated style. It was narrated by Boris Karloff, who is famous in the Universal monster movies, and particularly Frankenstein. And but there's one part that, even though Boris Karloff spoke throughout most of the special, he narrated it and was the voice of the Grinch. He didn't do the singing parts. The singing part was done by somebody else. And years later, when someone pointed out to me who the person was who sang it, this light went off in my head, and I went, oh, yeah. If the voice who sings "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," if it sounds familiar to you, he also did a series of TV commercials.
Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
He was Tony the Tiger, who sings that song. And for some strange reason, Trump has completely ruined that song for me. When I hear it come on the radio, that's all I can think of now when I hear that song. Ryan, your thoughts on the Grinch who stole Christmas?
What the hell did he just say? Like,
I
I don't even know what you just said. Like, I don't even know what that means. But the Grinch, probably my favorite TV Christmas special out of all these. Yes. Rudolph had his place and everything, but as I've gotten older, I don't really care for it anymore. I'll watch the Grinch all the time. It's a great story. It's funny. Max is amazing. You know, it definitely is one of the most recognizable characters from Christmas. You know, next to Santa Claus, who else you got? Rudolph and the Grinch. So I think the music was great. I think the narration was great. And again, must see. This is actually one of the very few Christmas specials that I would watch at any time.
Yeah. It always amazes me when someone's able to add something new to the Christmas season, you know. When the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" kind of introduced us to what Santa Claus looked like and all that stuff. And then subsequently new things were added like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And then Dr. Seuss comes out with the Grinch, and he's part of everyone's holiday now. It's just really amazing.
Yeah, Amazon, I know it's for the movie that was just released, but Amazon has boxes that have the Grinch. It's green boxes, and the Grinch is all over them. And they're actually pretty rare, so when people get them, they're like posting on Facebook like, I got a Grinch box, and like are freaking out about the Grinch box. So yeah,
cool. Right up there with the leg lamp. Tim, your thoughts on the Grinch?
I would say that the Grinch is probably maybe behind Darth Vader as the biggest babyface turn of all time. And I mean, for real, if you think about it, you know, because he starts off as a big jerk, and his heart grows what? How many times that day?
3 times? Was it 3 4 times?
Is it 3 times? I don't know, but okay. So how long before people start getting on the case of the Grinch for being a bully to Max? Because I remember watching that.
Pet abuse, yeah.
Because like the first time that I remember
where's
watching
PETA at on that?
Yeah, maybe the first couple times
PETA?
I watched it, I was highly upset.
Yeah.
At the Grinch for the way that he was treating his dog.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, everything ends up good at the end. He ends up getting
everything back.
He ends up getting redeemed, and yeah, and I do like that song.
Do you guys agree with me in that it's trying to make a live action version of it just doesn't work? Or did you guys like
talking about the Jim Carrey version?
Yeah.
I liked it, but definitely not as good as the cartoon. Definitely doesn't take its place. And but I liked it for, you know, what they attempted to do. I thought Jim Carrey was the best person to play that.
Oh yeah, he did a great job.
Part.
The Whoville people though, the Whovians.
That was a little weird. That was a little odd.
I only saw it,
and I don't like Molly Shannon too much.
Right.
I only saw it the one time.
I
thought it was okay when I saw it, but I probably would not now. I don't know. Maybe I would.
It definitely killed at the box office when it came out.
Well, I think people are always looking for a new Christmas movie to take the family to go see, and this completely took advantage of that.
It seemed like they were going to try to do that because then after that they came out with the Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers, and that was that was god awful.
Yikes!
But people tend to love it. I don't mean to cut you off.
That's right.
But they even have it at where's it at? Is it Disney or Universal?
I think Universal.
Universal.
They got all the Dr. Seuss stuff there.
Yeah, like they actually have a guy that comes out like portraying the Jim Carrey version. There's a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube and Facebook about, you know, people filming when they go to you get to take a picture with the Grinch and you get to meet him and he's, you know.
So neither of you guys have seen the latest version that's in theaters?
No, I haven't seen it.
I have not, but I heard it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I might check it.
And I wonder what I didn't see the box office. I
think
money-wise,
doing okay. I haven't really paid too much attention to it.
When we went to Casa Noel outside of Cleveland a few years ago, they had props and costumes and stuff, the big sled and everything from the movie. So obviously it's an attraction, but just not my thing. All right, let's jump to 1969. Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
Rankin Bass not only did the stop motion animation stuff, but they did the traditional animation stuff. And in 1969, they did this.
Happy birthday! Hey, I said my first words. But snowmen can't talk.
There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. Oh, when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around.
Frosty the Snowman
was alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play just the same as you and me.
So here Rankin Bass took a beloved Christmas carol and fleshed out the story, added some stuff about an evil magician and all that stuff, and turned it into a beloved animated program. Again, another one that I look forward to every year, something I look forward to watching, and loved it. Now, I haven't seen it in a few years. I need to revisit this one, but now I don't know if I like the traditionally animated stuff as much as I like the stop-motion stuff, but Frosty definitely is up there as far as one of the great Rankin Bass specials. Do you agree, Ryan?
No, but I don't totally disagree either. Like, Frosty was, it was okay. It ranks kind of right in the middle for me. If it's on, maybe I'll check it out. If it's not on, I'm not going to make a special effort to look for it. I haven't seen it in a while. But when I do watch it, it is still entertaining. The song gets you. I love the song, of course. And I think whoever did the casting did a great job. Like, the voice is a perfect fitting voice for Frosty.
Yeah.
And a really very fun and childlike, even though he's an adult. So did a great job with that.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
And the great Jimmy Durante narrating and singing the classic song. Tim?
Can you sing the whole song? Do you guys
not off of memory. I could probably sing along with it in the car.
Because I was just right now singing I Got Lost.
Yeah, I agree with you. I prefer the stop motion animation. But yeah, I did like Frosty. There's another one too that I believe they did that I cannot think of right now. And it had a classic song in it. But I'm pretty sure Rankin and Bass did another animated one.
They did 'Twas the Night Before Christmas,
Yeah,
where
that's
it was
the
a
one
family of mice or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. What song was that? There was like a classic song from that one too.
Well, I know they basically took the poem and turned that into a special, but I don't remember what music was in that one.
I'll find it before the end of it. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't
Three Blind
as crazy about this one as the other ones, but I did watch it all the time. I like it. It's good. I mean, I would watch it when it was on. And like you said, I haven't seen it in a few years, but yeah, it's a good one too.
Classic.
That's what we need we need a good Frosty remake.
I agree.
Never been
not the Michael Keaton thing.
No,
where he
not
dies
like Jack.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Like an actual Frosty.
I agree.
Hollywood, are you listening?
Give us a new take on Frosty the Snowman. It's due. So a year later, 1970, Rankin Bass goes back to the stop-motion animation and released Santa Claus is Coming to Town, narrated by Fred Astaire and introducing us to Mickey Rooney as the voice of Kris Kringle / Santa Claus. This is not one of my favorites. I'll watch it. It's not bad by any means, but I find the Meister Burger story like really dark, and Winter Warlock and all that stuff. To me, this is one of the more bizarre specials that they put out. Even though Winter Warlock was eventually redeemed, I think Meister Burger died or something at the end of it. But there is that one catchy song when Kris Kringle gives Winter Warlock a Christmas present.
Why, look here. Changing from bad to good's as easy as taking your first step.
Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door.
Catchy song. I sing that song every time I've been sitting on the toilet too long on my phone and my legs go numb. I have to sing that song to get out of the bathroom.
Ba-dum-bum.
Ryan, your thoughts on Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
All I got to say about Santa Claus is that thank you, Debbie, for saying tonight's decorations look great. And Deborah wanted to mention that the Frosty sequel is horrible, even though John Goodman did his voice. So John Goodman, good job with there. So that's all I got to say about that movie. I didn't care for it. I thought it was odd and bizarre. Like you said, the misers and all that stuff. And
no, not the misers. We'll get to
the misers.
The Winter Warlock.
Yeah.
Burger Meister Burger.
That's the one I was trying to say.
And they kind of talk about the origins of all the Santa Claus things that we know.
Yeah.
Tim?
Thank you, Colleen.
What is that?
And
Colleen said Tim looks cute.
And just to...
do I have it? Hold on.
Colleen said that Tim looks Cute, Joe.
I think you're cute. I'm cute. I'm cute.
Thank you.
So modest.
Real quick, I remembered the song. It was "Even a Miracle Needs a Hand" from the other one.
Wow, I do not remember that.
You
From
don't?
'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
And then that was in something else. Somebody else. It was in some other movie where they did it again. But anyway, yeah, You're Without a Santa Claus. I like that one, and they didn't. It seemed like they didn't show that one.
No,
as much.
we're not at that one yet. We're on Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Oh,
that tells the story of the young Kris Kringle meeting Mrs. Claus, starting the tradition.
Okay, that's the one I was talking about, but I just had the wrong title. Okay. But yeah, it seemed like when we were kids, they didn't show that one as much.
Right.
So that one was actually like a treat when that one would come on, and same thing.
Ooh, what kind of treats are you getting?
But I used to like to watch that one too. Yeah.
Now, speaking of Year Without a Santa Claus, this is kind of considered a sequel because there are some things that sort of carry over into this one from Santa Claus Coming to Town. This was released in 1974, and again, Mickey Rooney comes back to voice Santa Claus. This one, I really love this one. It's one of my favorites. But listen to the opening song here. It's a little dark.
Did you ever hear of that terrible year way back before you were born? When Santa Claus took a holiday on the night before Christmas morn. It was a year without a Santa Claus, a Christmas Eve so sad. It was a year without a Santa Claus, the worst we've ever had.
Listen to this line.
Children, they cried, they thought Santa had died.
What
Every
the
eye
hell?
shed a blue Christmas tear.
Thought Santa had died. Luckily, the special itself isn't that dark. There's a couple of down moments where, like, little Vixen gets sick. I remember that concerned me as a kid. And then, of course, we are introduced to Heat Miser and Snow Miser, two great characters that I absolutely love. They're part of my Christmas canon. And I love this special. I just watched it again recently and was just thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. Loved all the characters, the performances, the songs. There are a lot of original songs, but then they also played some classic songs like Blue Christmas and a couple other things they added toward the end there. But a great special. A lot of people I talk to say this is their all-time favorite special. Ryan, your thoughts on A Year Without a Santa Claus?
Really? They're saying it's their all-time favorite special?
Yep.
I could care less about this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Heat Miser? Snow Miser?
Heat Miser can... I don't like him at all. Snow Miser, the only reason I like that is because Kate bought decoration, like a 2-foot tall Snow Miser that swirled and sang the song while he was twirling a so that was the best part of that whole thing for me. So no, I'm just gonna pass on this one.
What?
Tim.
You can vote now.
Yeah, Rudolph. Rudolph is probably number one for me as far as the Rankin and Bass stuff goes. But this would probably be my number two, actually, because just those two characters and the whole thing, the feud between them, and it's just and the songs are. I mean, obviously, the Heat Miser has a better song than the other guy, but either way though, both songs are classic. And
I'm Team Heat Miser too.
And,
give me heat any day over snow.
And that was another one that they didn't show all the time.
Get off my lawn.
They didn't. It seems like they didn't show it like every year. So that was another. That was another big event when they would actually show that one when we were kids.
Now, as I was compiling this list, I stumbled onto something shocking, something I did not know existed. Apparently, in 2006. There was a live-action remake of The Year Without a Santa Claus. And you could find clips on YouTube. It looks like a nightmare. It looks absolutely god-awful. John Goodman is Santa Claus. That's not the worst part. I could see John Goodman as Santa Claus. But we got Michael McKean as the Snow Miser and Harvey Fierstein as Heat Miser.
But Michael McKean could pull that off.
Yeah, but here's
it looked horrible what you showed me.
Here's a little clip.
But
tell Mother Nature what's troubling you.
Carol Kane as Mother Nature.
Jingle and Jangle haven't been heard from since they tried to cross the divide.
Oh, but surely one of my sons must have seen them.
I spoke to them, but they didn't seem to be of much help.
I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Blister. I'm Mr. 101.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Tenderloin.
Oh, it makes me physically ill. Awful. Were you guys aware that this even existed?
No, I was not. But it was funny because you and I were talking before, and I mentioned one of the Christmas specials that I was going to have on my list that is actually not bad, and the only reason I've seen it is because of my daughter, but it's Almost Saves Christmas. And for whatever reason, they cast Harvey Fierstein as the Easter Bunny, and he's the creepiest Easter Bunny you could ever hope for. And whoever cast Charles Durning as Santa Claus, nothing against Charles Durning, but he must have been upset that he was in this movie because he was like the grumpiest Santa Claus I've ever seen.
How did Harvey Fierstein continue to get work with that voice? I can't listen to that voice for more than a few seconds. It's awful. And I can't believe they did a live-action remake of The Year Without a Santa Claus. Look it up on YouTube. It'll give you nightmares. It looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch. Like John Goodman was hosting Saturday Night Live, and they did a skit where they do a live-action remake of The Year Without a Santa Claus.
Five Timers Club.
Yeah. Oh, more than that.
John
He's
Goodman.
right up there. All right. And so then the next holiday special that I need to talk about is this one right here.
The Star Wars Holiday Special. Starring Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. Harrison Ford as Han Solo.
What? They got Harrison Ford?
Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia.
Carrie Fisher came back for it.
Introducing Chewbacca's family. His wife, Mala.
Okay, Mala, I'll allow it.
His father, Itchy.
Itchy? No, that's kind of mean.
His son, Lumpy.
Lumpy. Who would name their kid Lumpy?
Chewbacca would.
With special guest star.
What do you think?
You can vote now.
Beatrice Arthur.
B. Arthur.
I love the little girl.
Art Carney.
Art Carney.
Diane Carroll. The Jefferson Starship.
Is that all this is? Is them introducing people? And then
Harvey
end credits?
Korman. Don't interrupt Harvey Korman.
End credits.
Animated Star Wars story on the Star Wars Holiday Special.
And Charo.
That was like the longest intro I've ever heard in my life.
So imagine being, at this point, I'm 11 years old. Star Wars had come out.
Thank you, Debbie.
And there was, like, other than magazines and stuff that you could buy and maybe the Marvel comics, there was nothing Star Wars. Like, I was hungry for Star Wars. Give me anything Star Wars. And then they announced this holiday special. I almost lost my mind. Apparently, it aired before Thanksgiving. For some reason, I have memories of it airing closer to Christmas. But it aired before Thanksgiving. And it aired one time and is widely regarded as one of the craziest, most batshit things that have ever aired on television. And Lucas was so embarrassed by it that it got buried in the vaults for decades. And it wasn't until bootleg VHS copies started circulating where people were able to see it again. And now, of course, with YouTube, you can pretty much see it all on YouTube, poor VHS quality copies on YouTube.
If you watch it, make sure you bring some bleach to wash your eyeballs out with after.
It is bizarre. Now, amazingly, they got all the main actors back. Even James Earl Jones came back to record some dialogue. And they said that this was the first time that James Earl Jones had been acknowledged as the voice of Darth Vader. I guess the original release of Star Wars, before it was called The New Hope, they didn't acknowledge James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader. So this was the first time he got screen credit for that. And so Mark Hamill, I don't know what was going on with his makeup in this thing. You remember the makeup that Mark Hamill had on?
Yeah,
like
it looked
pancake
like he had,
makeup,
like,
eyeliner,
rouge like all over.
Yeah, he looked like David Bowie or something.
So this was before he got in his car accident, though, right?
Might have been. It might have been before the car accident. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. It was awful. The makeup on Harrison Ford was bad too.
Yeah.
I believe, and Carrie Fisher.
Carrie
It
Fisher.
was just the way that it was shot was bad.
If I didn't know better, I'd say Carrie Fisher was stoned throughout this special.
I think
too.
that would be a pretty safe guess at this point.
Yeah.
But they also used cut footage of Star Wars.
Yeah,
too,
they cut in like the Millennium
put
Falcon
that in.
and all that,
Yeah.
and interspersed it with new scenes shot in the cockpit of the Falcon. And
Okay, now I want to say that I'm pretty sure that I saw this before I saw Star Wars.
Really?
Because
oh my god,
yeah, because in my mind, I mean, I knew like about Star Wars because my next door neighbor / best friend already had like books and stuff, and I don't think he had seen it yet either. But he had all the toys. He had the freaking Death Star, which was awesome. But anyway,
and didn't
I remember
Lumpy have
going
a
there.
Bantha?
That's what I was just going to talk
Yeah.
about. I remember telling him going there, and he didn't see it, but I remember telling him the next day that that part upset me worse than anything because what was his name? Lumpy.
Lumpy. Yeah,
he
the
had
kid.
like a bantha, stuffed bantha.
Yeah.
And the stormtrooper came in there and like tore its head off. And I was just like, that part like screwed me up. Like,
And
I
they
was
never released that Bantha toy in stores. It wasn't until the 90s when they eventually released a Bantha in toy stores.
Yeah.
So,
but,
yeah.
But like I said, I'm almost positive that I saw this. So this was really the first thing that I saw of Star Wars. So I had no idea.
Wow.
I really had no idea. Like the one thing that was sitting at the end of the bar and he takes his hat off and he's pouring the drinks out there. I just thought that was Star Wars.
Where's B. Arthur?
Yeah.
And Harvey
Art
Korman.
I still love Golden Girls.
Now, the best thing most people will agree that to come out of this special was the animated sequence, which blew my mind as a kid. It was voiced by all the original actors, and they introduced us to a brand new character.
You saved my life. Thank you.
You are alone?
I have 2 droids. We've come in search of a ship that crashed near here.
Maybe I can help you. I am Boba Fett. The ship you seek is nearby.
So this was the first time the public was introduced to a character called Boba Fett. He was awesome, and he was kind of introduced as a good guy in the animated piece, but then he kind of turned on him. He was working on behalf of Darth Vader, and so then he appeared in Empire Strikes Back in the sequel, and then had dialogue and everything, and was my favorite Star Wars character for a long time, and that's where he was introduced. And so if you want to watch anything from this terrible, terrible special, you could watch just the animated portion of the special. It was the best part of this, and yeah, don't go out of your way to see it.
Can we go one show without mentioning Star Wars?
Oh, Mackie Big, the Force.
Hey, Boba Fett died.
No, he didn't. He got out of the Starlight Pit.
Whatever.
You shut your heathen mouth.
Oh yeah, he's still alive.
Big bad bounty
He's
hunter,
still
and I'm
alive.
just gonna
Don't
like
you worry about that.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Tim, anything else you want to add about this Star Wars holiday special before we move on?
It was like a little bit ahead of its time because Itchy had the virtual reality thing that he was watching
Diana Krall, dancing.
Is that who was like dancing around there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, how creepy was that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like he was sitting there getting a little excited there, watching her dance around. Yeah, just bizarre. Like how did this even get like? Okay, the parts with what was it, Life Day?
Yeah,
like those parts, I could see, but where do you come up with? Let's put B. Arthur as the bartender, and
because
and
it was
Art Carney,
produced
and they're
by people who had a
singing and-
variety show background, and so that's what
Still,
they
though, it
knew.
was bizarre.
Lucas was hands
never
off
go wrong
on
with
this.
B. Arthur.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. I guess.
Such an abomination. All right, we got about 15 minutes left in the podcast. Ryan, is there anything I did not discuss that's part of your holiday in your household?
A Golden Girls Christmas.
All right.
No. Go to Tim first. I thought there was one that but I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden.
All right, Tim, what do you got?
One of the newer ones that I really like. I mean, there was a couple of them, but one of them that I kind of forgot about, but it kind of like probably caught everybody by surprise. In the first season of South Park, Mr. Hankey's Christmas Classics pops up, and it was all exactly, and it was all different Christmas songs. They kind of made it look like one of the old Christmas specials with Mr. Hankey sitting by the fireside, introducing these different like songs. I bought the soundtrack, and it became an instant classic.
That might have been one of the hardest moments, or as far as laughing, one of the hardest laughing moments I'd ever seen on television. I remember calling friends and family saying, "You need to turn this on." Yeah. And I remember one of my friends was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" It was the most disturbing, but most hilarious thing I had seen on television.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was pretty much skewering a lot of that, but the songs were actually good. You had Merry Effing Christmas from Mr. Garrison. You had Christmas Time in Hell.
I hear there is no
Satan
Christmas
and Hitler
in the Middle East.
Yeah. Just fantastic. And there were some other ones that were actually on the album that weren't that didn't make it into the special.
Speaking of Christmas episodes of beloved TV series, next year will be the 30th anniversary of the premiere of The Simpsons, which premiered with their Christmas special in 1989 with Santa's Little Helper, the dog
I had that,
and all that stuff.
I probably still have it on VHS.
Can you believe that came out 30 years ago, and The Simpsons is still, I don't want to say going strong because it's missing a step or lost a step, but
as you age, things slow down.
30 years ago, I was living in California. I just moved out to California. The Simpsons had been part of the Tracy Ullman Show, and then they announced they were going to get their own show, and they kicked it off with this Christmas special. I thought it was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen at the time when it aired, and for about the first 10 seasons, The Simpsons was one of my all-time favorite TV series.
Now, I honestly don't remember. I mean, I watched The Simpsons for the first probably 10 years or so, too, but like the Halloween specials were like huge. Did they make it a point to do Christmas episodes every year?
No, they did a couple of Christmas specials or whatever, but not to the degree of Treehouse of Horror where they would number each new special or whatever. But I'm sure there's a few Christmas Simpsons episodes. Yeah. You had a couple other specials that you mentioned.
Well, like the first year was with Santa's Little. That's how they got Santa's Little Helper.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Mentioned Elmo.
The Jim Henson.
Jim Henson. Yeah.
1977, I want to say. So that
was a good year.
I didn't see this until it originally aired on HBO, but I didn't have cable until like the 80s. But they re-released this on network TV, and that was probably the first time I saw it, probably in 1980, I believe. And it was Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. I remember when I first saw it, I thought it was okay, but I've grown to really appreciate it more now that I'm older. But what's his name? Paul Williams did the music.
Oh,
and basically it's about the town has is giving away a prize. It's like a battle of the bands type thing. So Emmett has a band, and his mom sings a song, but then this band comes in from River Bottom, the River Bottom Nightmare Band, and they end up like winning it all. But then whoever owns, like I believe somebody that owns the restaurant or whatever is so impressed by the mom singing that gives her a job.
I don't know why I have no memory of this at all.
Have you seen it?
Absolutely no memory.
No.
You got to see it.
Off your description, I wanted...
No, you got to watch it. And also, he did another one called The Christmas Toy that I had bought a while ago, and my daughter loves it. And it is pretty much a precursor to Toy Story. It's there's a tiger who was like the main toy from the year before, and he can't come to grips that he's not going to be the most loved toy this year. But it's the same thing as like Toy Story, except it goes a little bit further. If they get seen walking around and playing around, then they freeze. Basically, they die.
Oh, geez.
But well, I mean, they don't call it dying, and nobody actually dies at the end. But I remember like seeing it when I was a kid, and I thought it was okay. But like actually watching it now, it's actually pretty good.
Didn't John Denver do a Christmas special with the Muppets, or was that an episode of the Muppets?
I think I also have that.
Some really great songs that come out of that. That was awesome.
Yeah,
They're killing me.
That was a Christmas special. Another one that came out quite a few years ago was a Very Merry Muppet Christmas, and that one that was like a little bit more adult. It was basically It's a Wonderful Life. Kermit wishes that he'd never been born. David Arquette is his guardian angel, trying to earn his wings. He comes down.
All right, you said David Arquette, and you're gonna. I mean, you're talking.
Whoopi Goldberg, I believe, is God in it.
If you made these last three up, I wouldn't even know the difference if you were just making this up.
But anyway, the storyline to this one is
New York's hottest Christmas special
is what they ripped off.
It has everything.
Whoopi Goldberg.
I'll just say they borrowed
David
heavily.
Arquette.
They borrowed heavily
A Christmas
from this
Angel.
for
Midget on a skateboard.
when they redid it, or when they re-premiered the Muppet movie, Jason Segel or whatever, he borrowed heavily from this.
Really?
Believe me. Yeah. Oh, and you know who else was in it? The baddie was I can't think of her. Joan Cusack.
Okay.
All
right.
She actually looked pretty.
Brian, did you find this
Did
special?
not look good. You liar.
She did. I'm gonna make you guys watch this. I'm gonna.
She didn't even look good when she looked good.
I'm gonna put toothpicks in your eyes, and I'm gonna show all three of these in a row.
All right.
What do we got?
Yes, I've been on the naughty list.
Humbug.
Ryan, what's the special you were trying to find?
There was two. One of them was Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
Was that animated or was that?
It was animated.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
How did they turn that song? I never saw it. I obviously am familiar with the song. How did they turn that song into a special?
It just the same way they did with Rudolph and everything else. And Frosty, they took it and made a literal version of Grandma walking home after drinking so much eggnog. And
Did she die or was she
running over by-
hospitalized?
She did not die. You're not going to kill Grandma in a kid special unless you're Disney.
She didn't die. I remember watching it.
Did she have hoof prints on her forehead and
did.
claws marks on her back?
And then the other one is Garfield. What?
I say bah. Humbug.
No.
Why?
No, Garfield had a couple good specials. The Halloween and the Christmas were
Yeah.
actually good.
Yeah.
Not even on my radar. Okay.
Because you haven't seen it or because you didn't like it?
I just didn't even know these things existed.
Okay. So, and maybe it's the age thing. Like when I was a kid, these were on, and so I kind of grew up with them. So maybe I don't know when they were released. Maybe you were a little older at that point, so
Probably.
you kind of just didn't pay attention to it. But
I was just never into
but
Garfield.
yeah, Garfield. I wasn't really either, but
Oh man, I used to love that cartoon.
the
I
Halloween.
used to watch that cartoon every Saturday.
Halloween got me every time. Candy. Oh, Garfield. Loved it, and I like the Christmas one as well. I think it's great.
Just got me thinking of the scene from Zombieland when Bill Murray gets shot. Do you have any regrets? Garfield, maybe.
Yeah, that was Garfield.
Debbie Greathouse brings up a good point.
Yes.
What about Mickey's Christmas Carol?
Well, Rollins isn't here to bring that up. I'm sure he would have brought that up if he was here. He brings that up every time we talk about Christmas.
There you go, Debbie. You agree with Rich Rollins. How does that feel?
I mean, that was actually decent. That was made for TV then?
It probably
believe
aired
it
like
was.
The Wonderful World of Disney.
No,
sort
I
of a
actually
thing.
I like
okay.
it.
I do too.
If I saw it, it was years ago, and I don't have much memories. But I think
I like it.
Is this from a Mick? Yeah,
I say bah. Humbug.
yeah, that's Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I did like it.
And that transformed into DuckTales, which was another awesome TV show.
Somebody posted a picture from
DuckTales.
DuckTales, which blew my mind. That, or am I thinking is Chip and Dale part of that, or is that something different?
That was probably Chippendale's
You're
Rescue
thinking of
Rangers.
Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
Oh, okay. I see. It's all a blur.
Chippendale.
But apparently, Chip and Dale were dressed as Indiana Jones and Magnum P.I.
There's
Yeah.
no stranger.
Yeah. Yes.
Might solve a mystery.
All right, we got about 5 minutes. Anything else you guys want to throw out? Any of our listeners watching live?
Denver mentions Prep and Landing, and that one's very good too.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
It's one that just came out. It's a CGI one that came out the last couple of years. It's actually very good. I don't remember the storyline, but it's good. A couple other CGI ones that have come out: Shrek the Halls, and you said you didn't like it, but I really like Toy Story. The Toy Story That Time Forgot.
I watched it, and I was shocked at how awful.
How is it awful?
It was just so dark. And who did they kidnap? Did they kidnap somebody?
Have you seen Toy Story 3 by chance? You want to talk about dark?
That was sad. That wasn't dark. But
how
didn't they kidnap? Which toy did they kidnap in that one? And they had to go look for him, right?
I don't remember that part. Maybe, but it was like these. It was kind of like the same thing with. I'll tell you why I really like this one, because it reminded me more so of any of the Toy Story toys that I actually would have had when I was a kid or played with. I wouldn't have played with any of those Toy Story toys. This was actually like action dinosaurs that had like castles and stuff, and they didn't get played with because the kid also got some like hot new video game thing. So they had no idea that they were like toys either, kind of like going back to the first one. So they thought that they were actually these like warriors, and they pitted like they pitted the Toy Story characters against each other in like the Coliseum and
MTV's Grudge Match.
You got me thinking about one of the worst Christmas specials I've ever seen. This was a straight to DVD release. It was the Beauty and the Beast Christmas.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say this thing that Denver said. That would have been perfect.
Oh, no.
He said, don't forget about Pee Wee Herman's Christmas special.
Oh, that one was pretty great. That one's actually really good. But no, the Beauty and the Beast Christmas, and like Enchanted Christmas or whatever, is kind of a prequel, sort of, where they're living in the castle. Beast is still Beast. The furniture is still animated. And there's a bureau or a dresser who is infatuated with Beast and jealous of Belle. And it's a male-voiced character.
Played by Harvey Fierstein.
Probably. And
he can vote now.
Like, tries to kill Belle out of jealousy. It's one of the darkest, strangest Christmas specials I've ever seen. Avoid that special at all costs. But no, Pee-wee's Christmas special is great. I have that on DVD at home. It's weird, of course. I think Grace Jones is in it, and there's some weird stuff.
Enough
in it.
said.
But it's Pee-wee.
Grace
Love me
Jones.
some Pee-wee.
Yeah, we know that.
And
tell us something we didn't know.
And
is Cowboy Curtis in it?
He probably is. Cowboy Curtis was great. The great Larry Fishburne. Oi, Pee-wee.
Mecca high, Mecca honey ho.
Before he was Lawrence. Was Lawrence.
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. And I also forgot to play this deleted scene. When everyone starts making fun of Rudolph's nose and everything, they cut this part out.
Does my nose amuse you? Is it funny? Like a clown? Does it make you laugh? No. Great nose.
Yeah, and then Anarchy pulls out a gun, and it's nuts, but they cut that out for obvious reasons.
Just one more that I want to mention real quick.
Yes.
It's a hidden gem. You can probably find it on YouTube, but it was the little-known Comedy Central show that Robert Smigel did called, it was TV Funhouse, but there was a Christmas special that he did. Check that one out. Check out the New Year's special after it.
If that's
you
the
will
one
not
you
be
showed
disappointed.
me, I was like, please stop it, please. All right, that'll wrap up our Christmas special. And next time you hear from us, we're going to be looking back on the year 2018 with our best movies from 2018. Hope everyone has a great Christmas, happy holidays, and a happy new year. And we'll see you again soon on Movies for Misfits.
Happy Merry, Happy Kwanzaa.